This is Alexander Throstjans of the DGN News Network. My Mako news van has been rendered inoperable by opposing forces that are holding all of those inside of Port Alistair hostage. As a reporter, it is my responsibility to get this news to you, which is why I'm now in my evac suit getting you the only footage possible. A 48-hour standoff between TPX syndicate members and the UE military forces have brought about questions as to just what the reasoning is behind the recent developments of yesterday's Starfarer hijacking.
What if you could be anything you wanted to be?
This is Shadow Form commencing Operation Cobra. You're clear, Shadow Forum.
When I joined Plexus, I knew what I was getting myself into. We all did. And we are happy to do it. Still remember the day I joined them. Brothers, sisters, family. A basic philosophy of we are one, guiding them through the past 900 years of its existence.
Approaching Starfarer, Gragas.
Roger that, Shadow Form. Contract is complete. All crew members are gone.
Excellent. Just me and this big boat. Initiating self-destruct sequence.
The emergency destruct system is
Self-destruct sequence activated.
expires in T-minus 5 minutes.
Jensen, that you?
Yeah, Shadow Form, you don't have much time. About 5 minutes to get the captain's plans and get the hell out.
Here's the captain's quarters. Transferring coordinates now.
Shadow Form, you gotta get out of there, man. You gotta get out of there now.
I'm not gonna make it. Goodbye, Jensen.
Come on, Alexander, you have to pull it together. This is what you wanted to be. You always wanted to be a reporter, now report, damn it.
The Starfarer Gemini named Gragas was scheduled to drop off much-needed fuel for Port Alistair's stabilizing thrusters responsible for the gravitational rings keeping the station in orbit. Without this vital fuel, Port Alistair will descend into the gas giant Crusader. The Syndicate is a mysterious organization led by... Wait, they're coming now. They're shutting down my live feed and...
And welcome back to the Games Gamers. So happy you've joined us. I hope you guys liked the intro. It took me a long time to make that. Also wanted to give you a taste of what's to be in the game. People say, how in depth is the news going to be? We're going to go over that in this video. We're also going to go over the Mako. I'm going to talk about if it's a vehicle worth owning, especially if you're considering getting into a reporting role. We did a career video last year. We did not include reporter. We did include information broker, and I'm sure that the reporter and the information broker will both coexist with one another. But as we have talked about in the past, the most important commodity in Star Citizen is the news. And we've been talking here in our Discord community, really wonderful community. Go down in the description. You guys can join it. We're going to be talking about exploration next week. Should be a very fun talk. But currently we were talking about, hey, they were saying you need to do like a video on the news, Al. And I was like, yeah, that's a really good idea. One of the Around the Verses mentioned the Mako again, and it kind of refreshed my views towards how in-depth is like a reporting role going to be in the game. Well, you can really make it as in-depth as you want it to be, because you can be anything in this game that you want to be. You really can. So for instance, if you're a CEO, and you want to start an organization, a news organization, I think that's a very valuable thing to be. I mean, you can go so far as charging credits for people to get the proper information in the game, most, professional, consistent news that you can get. For me, information is the most important thing in the game. As a CEO, I want to know what's going on in the verse. Here we've got like the initial thought, kind of like the seed planted into Chris's head about the news. Let's watch this. At the very end of this, I would watch this. It's a very old 10 for the chair. But at the very end of this, he actually, you can see he starts talking about how he wants to insert like the fiction into the game. Where you walk into a bar and you can see the news on the television screen, which I think is really cool in and of itself, that SIG wants to take like an active role in participating in making news within the game and then displaying it on television screens. But then as he starts to explain it, he talks about creating channels so that players can do it. And it's kind of like an aha moment, because think about it. If you're a CEO and you can have other people do the work for you, you're going to find a way to create the tools within the game so that people can properly report the news. Now, just how in depth, I mean, many of us in the discussions within our Discord have talked about how cool it would be if you were in the ship and you can actually stream this, like go live, and then it would go into your monitors in your ships. Now, I think that's personally a way far off into the future, but something to think about, and I hope the designers are listening right now. I think that's a great idea. You've even got the point where you've got these cameras on the turrets of the Mako on the ends, if you look, and they have to have a function. It's a utility mount. No guns, cameras. These ships, these Makos can serve as excellent scout ships as well. I would as a CEO, if I was in a security organization or a military organization, I would use the Mako's excellent sensors to be able to mark and tag and ID ships that were further out that normal ships could not, and then relay that information back to me. If there's a way to do that in-game, be phenomenal. I think that's something we really need to think about in regards to just how far we want to push the envelope to the design of the game. I hope that SIG listens to that. But let's listen first to the initial seed, the little germination going on inside the brain over 2 years ago, and then I'll show you a little bit other things from the designer. So let's watch that first.
Could there be a possibility of a weekly or an even daily news show about current events in the verse that includes interactions between players, for instance, pirate raids or organizations declaring war on each other, and NPCs, like Operation Pitchfork, the UEE's Most Wanted, or alien race interactions? What about the possibility of a play-around broadcast like between two space ferns with wingmen, or the Dread Pirate Robert's literal pirate radio? Well, we're definitely actually planning on having a in-fiction news show that you would see like in bars and stuff, and we would let players also sort of watch it, say from the RSI website. And that's actually part of the sort of post-launch content plan in terms of we would actually have people that their job would be to watch the game and see what events were happening, make sure that we capture sort of in-game footage of some of the events, and make news reports from around the world. So like if two big organizations get into a big battle over an asteroid base, that potentially could make frontline news. And that's part of the idea of trying to put in news that we're constructing for the universe, there's a famine in this sector or whatever, as well as player actions, and blend it all into our world, so it feels like the players are just as much part of the world as all our designed NPCs, and they feel like their actions have consequence. And I personally, that's what I want in a game. I think that would greatly increase sort of the immersion into this world, and so we're planning on that, and it will be really great, I think, when it happens. So I'm pretty excited by that. And then the possibility of play-around broadcasts, I wasn't thinking about this, but I think that's actually a really good idea, and it's probably pretty easy for us to sort of provide sort of channels, just like you can on internet radio. So we probably could have like our channels, just like you can in GTA. You can listen to different channels as you wander around, and then maybe we have some player channels that people can have their own streams on, and then you could tell people and you could tune into them. So that could be pretty cool. So I like that idea. So I will see what we can do about that. Not promising a game that it's going to be in right away, but I think that's potentially a very, very cool idea.
And as I said before, you can see that at the very end, Chris is saying he'd like in GTA, he compared it to GTA 5, how you can go to the radio stations, if there could be stations within the game that we could all tune into and listen to other news organizations within the game. So it's in his head. So I'm hoping that this is something that continues to be developed. Only makes sense because we're doing the work for him. Why wouldn't you do that as a CEO of a company? If people can actually take news, report it, whether they're accurate or not, if a lot of people get upset about this and say, well, how do I know this information is even true? Well, over time, just like anything else, whether you're PvPing or, a miner or a scientist or all these different careers that you can be in the game, people will not go to you if you don't know how to do it personally yourself. If you're not informed and you do not have the techniques to actually refine your own skill through your own acumen, then people will not come to you and your business model will fail. And those that are the most successful will be those that are adequate and professional, and those are who people are going to go to. Now, how far can you actually take this? If you decided to open your own news organization, well, guess what you could do? You could actually create your own website that people can go to. In fact, there's a lot of people right now, like Guard Frequency, my friend Justin over at Guard Frequency. There's tons of kind of news outlets within the verse, and I'm assuming that they would love to use the Mako, and they would love this feature within the game. Especially a lot of content creators like myself would love to fly around in the Mako and question people about what's happening in certain areas. Hey, do you have a war over here? What's going on? With the in-game events that SIG also inserts into the game as part of the fiction. If a planet has a plague and SIG's news says, hey, there's a plague on this planet, and it's kind of broadcast throughout the verse within their new platform that they're using, then I would imagine that we could also come in as news guys and go down on the planet and ask these people hey, how is this affecting you personally? What are the items that you're having issues with? If you're a farmer and you're having issues with crops, since we know survival is going to be in the game and that food will be needed, what crops are being affected? These are really, really cool dynamics within a game. They give you that playability that's going to be long term. It will give people the reason to continue to log in. And I hope that they continue to develop this aspect of the game, because a lot of people don't know it. But information's key. When they log in, they want information. It'd be so cool to be able to get that information from its own player base, not only just SIG, but from own player bases, like people that come to my channel that subscribe to me for a lot of the theory crafting that we do here on Star Citizen, or the passion that I put into this that people are connecting with, or perhaps you like a different style of reporting the news or a different style of content. Those are the people that you can actually go to, and you can have that within the game. So you would not only be able to have it, on YouTube, but you'd actually be able to have it in the verse, which I think is very cool, that you don't have to alt tab out and say, you can do everything within the game, everything within the panel. Now let's go over the specs here of the Mako. Now, as you see here, you've got a lot of different types of transmitters. These transmitters will be able to take basically the data and then transmit it out. A lot of the game mechanics involved with what this ship is going to do, not yet stated. But I could surmise that these transmitters will basically be able to broadcast a signal. That you have two different types of transmitters, maybe if one gets damaged, or maybe there's a short wave and a long wave. I think the use of these two transmitters are basically transmitting the data out in whatever form or fashion. If it's within a mission and you needed to collect visual data for an NPC and then you collected it, you can transmit it then out. As we said before, game mechanics are not fleshed out as of yet, but I can see that the inside of this ship really cool. Cargo units, I believe, for the Mako are around 13, so you're not going to be carrying around a lot of things. It looks like they have a broadcast workstation if you sit down. So, the broadcast workstation, awfully interesting how they're going to implement this screen, how you're going to be able to interact with it in the game. Is this something where you're going to actually be able to have big type of functionality out of this, where you can stream events within the game? You're in a war, you want to stream it, great. Now Chris did mention that you'll be able to take like your own character within the RSI website and click that you are in a stream mode, and people will go into you and be able to like look at your individual character and what it is that you're streaming within the game through the RSI website. Very, very cool. At least that's what he wants. Let's watch this video.
All right, next question comes from Silver Fox, who asks, what are your thoughts on having the ability to stream what's been seen on another player's Star Citizen screen via a helmet or ship nose in-game camera module? This could be used for scouting, exploring, data hacks / interception, and FPS CQB video streams. So I'm not quite sure if we mean stream like just stream as in Twitch stream. I mean in the game, like one of the features that we have on a roadmap that I'm actually fairly keen on is the ability to have so you can stream in the game. If you want to, you can sort of turn streaming off and on. So think of it a bit like the PlayStation sharing. So the ultimate idea would be I'm flying around, I'm like, oh, I'm going to stream this, and if I was on the website and I was looking at the user icon or ID for me, you could have like a little red dot next to it, which means, oh, look, he's streaming, and you could click on him and you could open up and see what he's streaming, which would be pretty cool. Also, I wanted to have sort of cameras set around the universe, so you could sort of almost see traffic cams of what's happening. So we'll put sort of spectator cams that will stream in the universe, that you can be on the web. You can go to our site and go, oh, look, what's happening in Terra right now? What's happening in orbit around Crusader? So those are all sort of kind of pretty cool streaming options. We have the Reliant News Van, which we just announced during the live stream, and one of the sort of kind of more fun, smaller professions is kind of the streamer, the news reporter, or whatever, where you could stream action that's happening and go around, and that's kind of what the Reliant News Van's for. And the idea would be to sort of film action, and you could stream it, and obviously you can see on a website, but also we were thinking that maybe some of it could be streamed in game, so to speak. So like if you were in a bar on the TV, maybe that kind of thing is streaming. And we want to additionally do the same for races. So like we really do want to make the Murray Cup something that is in fiction and happens, and they have a whole series of races that gets competed over a season, and there's qualifying rounds and all the rest of the stuff. And we have a competition for it in Star Citizen that's in fiction that you can watch in a bar, or you could also watch on the site for the races, and people compete and train for it. And ultimately we would want to do the same with Arena Commander and Star Citizen, because they're meant to be in fiction games, so we're sort of going to do it in sort of esports, a game within a game kind of thing. So I hope that answered the question.
All right, and again, I think very cool. If you do look at the interior of the Reliant, you will notice, like in the beginning of the video I showed, obviously the Mako is not out yet, so I had to use a standard Reliant. But the area that was opened up in the back that was normally for cargo for the Reliant, this is where those items will be, so that you can see where those everything's going to go within the cargo area. You look here, and basically it performs just like the Reliant. The fin does move in a vertical position, you can see that. And then in this particular video, you're seeing different angles and different shots. I like to view perspective and size from Teller's video, which is a really good YouTube content creator that I go to when I'm looking at ships and the spatiality of ships, like how much space they're taking up. So let's look at this video from Teller here. I'll link the card. You guys go check out his channel. Very good, cool YouTube content creator. But let's just check out the actual overall size and dimensions of the ship and get an idea of what we're looking at here. And then we also have the designers talking about the utility mounts very briefly in regards to the Mako. Let's watch that.
Been specking out that much, but we absolutely have started looking into more utility mounts. So the Reliant's another example of this, with the research variant, the news van, and the base hauler all having turret mounted utility gear. So having the non-combat stuff to mount on your ship, absolutely.
And that about wraps up the video, guys. Thanks for watching so much. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It would mean a lot to me if you liked and shared this. I put a lot of time into this particular video, and I always put tons of time into this. I appreciate all the support that you guys give me here on the channel. Please, like I said again, join our Discord. We at least once or twice have a really good discussion about Star Citizen and plenty of other games here at the games. So I would love to see you in our community. Join us on our stream for fun. Always doing different fun things here. And again, consider becoming a patron and helping me out financially so that I can continue making content for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next vid.